Hey you guys, it's Jack, and before I even get into this video, I just want to say it is probably not going to be the funniest or most entertaining video that I've ever done. Not that any of my videos are all that funny. This story actually happened 2 years ago when I was a sophomore in college, and one of my younger friends now, they were in a similar situation, and it's not a life or death situation, but it is important, and I do want to talk about it, so I apologize that this video won't be one of those budunch type hilarious videos. Well, hilarious videos. Like I love how I think my videos are hilarious. I'm probably the only one. But before I get into all of that, I just want to say that I have posted 3 new vlogs on my second channel, which is in the description below. The link will be down there, so definitely check that out. Like I said, the story starts sophomore year in college, and let me just say, I'm just gonna be entirely honest. I was a virgin sophomore year in college. For a multitude of reasons. Sex may be different for me than it is for you or your friends, or maybe you're the same as me, I don't know. Also, my sophomore year in college, I felt like I didn't have a lot of friends, so I was really searching for friends because that's what I wanted. So the story begins at a gay party, and yes, that all of my stories start at gay parties. I never should have gone to that party to begin with, but I ended up bartending, and I have never bartended before in my life, and let's just say I made the drinks a bit strong. I really like bartending at parties because it gives me the excuse to talk to people because I'm kind of socially awkward and I like hide in a corner and don't talk to anybody. There was this guy, he was relatively attractive, at least I thought so, and maybe we flirted a little bit. It wasn't anything serious. He ended up introducing me to his friends. He had a group of like 5 or 6 friends. They were all older and they all seemed really chill and they seemed like they were really good friends with one another, and that's what I wanted. Like, I was looking for a cool friend group. So we spent the entire night hanging out, talking. The party ended and it was time for everybody to go home, and my friends were leaving, the friends who I had come with. My new friends were inviting me to hang out with them a little bit longer because I was a little bit drunk. I didn't want to go home and go to bed because I can't go to bed after I've been drinking. I need to get it all out of my system by eating and doing other things. I said to my friends, like, hey, I'm just gonna go home with this group of people. That was a bad idea, and I'm realizing it now, but at the time I didn't know that. My friends ended up leaving. I remember I said, because I was sobering up at this time, I said to this group of people, I said it to all of them, I was like, listen, I don't know if I was flirting with anybody. I just want to make my intentions clear. I'm just looking for friends. I'm just looking to hang out. I'm not looking to be sexual. I can go with you guys. All that I need is one of you to give me a ride home at the end of the night. They were like, yeah, that's fine. We're really good friends. We don't hook up with each other. None of that ever happens. And one of us is a designated driver, and he can give you a ride home at the end of the night. So I was like, perfect. So I went home with them. It was also raining and it was cold. Ithaca's always so fucking cold. So I was wet from walking to their car in their apartment. So one of them, the guy who I was flirting with a little bit that night, who I thought was cute, gave me clothes to change into. And it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm gonna wear sweatpants and then snuggle up with him. No, it was honestly just, you're wet. Your clothing's wet. Here's some clothing. Come drink with us, come have a good time with us. We drank a little bit more, it was fun. I was in a group of probably 7 other people. Slowly as the night progressed, more and more people started leaving because they wanted to go to bed because it was approaching like 4 a.m. One couple left, so it was me and 5 other guys, and then eventually we drove 2 other guys home. As we were dropping somebody off, one of the guys had the idea that, oh, let's go and party at this one house. I don't know if it was somebody's apartment. So we go there. We ended up drinking more. It was me and 3 other guys at this point. One guy who I really didn't know all that well, the designated driver, and the guy who I had been flirting with. We drank some more. We smoked a little bit. But at one point, I remember, like, it became really awkward because the guy who I had been flirting with and the designated driver, who were sitting directly across from me, they started making out. And I remember being like, wow, this is really awkward. I don't know what to do. So I was just kind of like, And then I remember being like, wait, I thought none of these guys hook up. And while I'm thinking about this and I'm trying not to be awkward, I'm watching them like an awkward third wheel, I feel something on my back and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it was the third guy, like, petting my back and trying to get me to turn around and make out with him. I didn't want to be rude or anything, so I just kind of sat there and pretended that it wasn't happening, even though it was really awkward. I was just kind of like, this isn't happening. And he ended up leaning in and making out with me, and I have the worst fucking reaction times in the world. Like, thank God I have never almost gotten into an accident where I could have avoided it, because I wouldn't have been able to avoid it. I just sit there and I'm like, this isn't happening. This isn't happening. So while he was making out with me, I was like, do I want this? What is going on? Where am I? What is happening here? And eventually I was like, no, I don't want this. So I politely just like pulled back and I was like, okay, like, guys, it's getting really late. I'm not even feeling that great anymore. Like, whenever you guys want to drive me home, whenever somebody wants to give me a ride home, that's fine, because this is getting kind of It's turning into something I don't want it to turn into. I remember the guy who I had been flirting with broke away from the designated driver and he gave me the dirtiest look in the world. And okay, maybe I'm cock blocking, but what the fuck am I gonna do? Like, you should... Why is this even happening? You said none of this was gonna happen to begin with. Now I'm in an awkward situation. Immediately, the guy who I had been making out with like leaps up and he's like, oh no. Let's drink more. Let's smoke more. Take this. I'll pour you another drink. And I'm like, okay, listen, I don't wanna hook up with you. That doesn't mean it's a challenge to get me to hook up with you. That doesn't mean let's give him more alcohol. No, it's just that I don't wanna do it. That went on for a good 5 minutes. I'm not lying. It was like, drink this, smoke this. Here, I'm smoking, I'm drinking. What does he do? He starts leading me out of the room and he's like, listen, we can sleep here. We can sleep in my bed. We can sleep over here. And I'm like, listen, no. It was literally like Sam at the Green Eggs and Ham. I was like, no, I do not want to sleep with you in a bed, in a shed, on a train. Eventually, he's like, listen, you're probably going to end up sleeping here tonight because the designated driver really doesn't want to drive you home tonight. Oh, like, why did I even come here with these guys? They had driven home so many other guys before, and now all of a sudden it's like, sorry, even though we promised you a ride, we're not gonna give you one. I was annoyed by this point. I was mad. I ended up going back into the room because everyone else in the entire house was asleep, and I didn't know what to do, so I went back into the room with the two guys who had been hooking up before, but they weren't hooking up anymore. I remember the first thing that happened when I entered that room was one of the guys walked over and started offering me pills. You guys, I don't want to drink more. I don't want to smoke more. I want to leave. That's all that I want to do. I've asked you now 30 to 45 minutes ago for me to go, if I could go home. You don't know how those are going to interact with my body. I weigh 110 pounds. I've drinking like 10 drinks tonight. You're not supposed to mix them with alcohol. Why are you offering me these things? And he knew I didn't want it, but he kept holding it in my face. And when I say that it was like those DARE programs warn you about, it literally was. He was holding it in my face. They were like, oh, we'll take them with you. It'll be fun. Like, it'll really relax you. You won't be so anxious. Eventually, the designated driver saw that I was getting really annoyed and really uncomfortable. So he finally was like, enough, guys. I'll just drive him home. It's fine. Meanwhile, the other guy he'd been hooking up with gave me another scathing look. But the story doesn't end there because the guy who had been trying to convince me all night long to sleep with him in his apartment, he started offering the designated driver alcohol. He started offering the designated driver the pills. He started offering the designated driver more weed. I'm just sitting there being like, how desperate are you that you have to make my designated driver inebriated so that I can't get home? Like, where, like, and maybe I'm over exaggerating this, or maybe I'm taking it the wrong way, and maybe I'm not giving any of them the benefit of the doubt. But the truth is, lines were crossed so many different times on so many separate occasions that night. Don't lie to me and say that you don't hook up or that you're not looking for that when that's truthfully all that you're looking for, and then bring me in a situation where I can't remove myself and I rely on you to get out of it. Eventually the designated driver was like, whatever, I'll drive him home. We walked downstairs and I will never forget the guy who I had been flirting with kind of that night leans in and says, wow, at least you got some new clothes out of the deal, huh? And I remember looking down and I was like, yeah, I am wearing your shitty clothes that are like 8 sizes too big for me. Is this what you think I wanted? We get outside. Those other 2 guys are gone. It's just me and the designated driver. He needed to go back into the goddamn building to get his keys. And I remember thinking, like, if he tries to get me to go back in that building with those guys, I am just walking home. I don't know where I'm going, but I am not going back into that building. I remember I was just so frustrated with myself, and I'm not, I may sound like a complete bitch and a baby, but this was also back. It was back during when I was in a different mindset than I am now, but I remember I got really upset, and I remember I got back to my apartment and I literally just cried because I felt like I was a loser. I felt like, great, like I want friends, it's all I want. Why can't I find friends? Why can't I make friends? Why am I in this humiliating situation where like I'm afraid to act sexually with somebody? But the truth of the matter is, don't ever compromise anything about yourself to be cool to somebody else or to please somebody else. Everybody in the gay community experiences milestones at different points. I'm not the most sexual person. I don't get enjoyment from hooking up with strangers. Maybe that's a thrill for you. Maybe that's what you like to do, but you need to respect that somebody else may not like doing it. My entire experience with the gay community up until that point was just people treating me like shit because I didn't want to be sexually active with them. And the whole entire thing is like right now the gay community is on this whole like don't slut shame, and the same thing with the straight community. It's so anti-slut shaming, but then again, when somebody doesn't want to be sexual, it's like let's shame them, let's call them a prude. But really, it's just a different sexual preference. I don't get enjoyment from doing that, so why am I going to do it? So any of you guys who are young and you're in situations where you want older guys to like you, or you want people who've been out for years to like you, don't feel the need to be sexual with somebody, because that's the wrong way of getting somebody to like you. If you don't want something sexual, you don't want something sexual. There's nothing wrong with that. That's it. That's it. And I wish I had known that earlier, and I wish I didn't put myself in these situations and then beat myself up over it. So I promise you, if you don't want to be sexually active, you're looking for a relationship, you look at sex differently than other gay guys, you're not crazy. And on the flip side, on the reverse, if you're a sexual person, you're not crazy either. It's just we all have different desires and we all enjoy different things, but you need to respect when somebody doesn't have the same desires as you do. Like, really? So that being said, I don't know, comment below with your thoughts. And I feel bad. Like, I feel like one thing I feel like I'm not actively conveying is the way I felt. And I feel like you won't understand that until you're in a situation where you're actually kind of fearing for your own safety. And maybe that's ridiculous of me to have felt that way, but I did feel that way. And that felt really shitty, and I don't want you guys to be in that situation. So I want you guys to be careful who you hang around with. I want you guys to be careful who you meet online, who you meet at parties, who you go home with. And I want you guys to not be these timid little fearful people who are wandering around and afraid to like hang out with people, but I want you guys to know that there are people out there who are going to put you in this situation, and it sucks, but you need to be aware of it. So comment below with your thoughts, okay? My hat just fell off. My hat has had enough of this video. It's like, Jack, stop talking. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I apologize if it's long. I don't know how long it's going to be, but check out my vlogging channel, comment below with your thoughts, and to lighten up the mood, because this was a relatively serious, maybe a little bit heavy video, just say a bathroom joke or a joke in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know if you guys like serious topics. I really want to entertain you guys, so I'm always like, haha, funny jokes, but I like making videos like this too when I feel the need to. I feel the need to, I don't know, to like be your older brother and be like, no guys, this is what's up. So thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you check out those vlogs, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys. Am I blocking him? You should get him.
I'm not gonna buy a Barbie.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
Sorry.
Or you can get the mermaid one and play with it in your bathtub. And then I can live vicariously through you, because I could never play with Barbie.